All right, let me share my screen so I can show you ScienceDirect AI in action. Okay, so here you can see the Ask ScienceDirect AI homepage view. And this is really where you can start your search and discovery journey to find summaries, comparisons, extract insights in response to your query. And that query could be anything. You can ask your research question in your own words, and you can even use your own language if you prefer. It doesn't have to be English. But for this demo, I'll put in a research question and then put the system to work. So as you can see, your question will be analyzed and optimized. So that means that any typos that you may have made will be corrected. Your query will be translated into English if necessary. Any abbreviations that you may have used will be expanded so that the search engine can do its work optimally. The system will decide which search strategy to use. So it will combine both semantic search, so searching by meaning of your query, with simple keyword search to get back the most relevant passages of full text from our index. So with these relevant passages, the large language model will generate a summary response. And as you can see, and this is something that is not, true for any AI tool out there, is that every statement and every assertion in the summary response is accompanied by at least one reference. So this allows you to very quickly verify the statements in the summary to the actual research that it was grounded in. And these references are not just titles and maybe abstracts. They actually point back to the exact passage in the full text that is underlying this statement. So in this case, you can see the answer was derived from the results and discussion section in the article. So this really allows you to very quickly verify, has the LLM interpreted this article or this passage properly? Is it in fact relevant to my query? Do I think that this is worth looking into further? Do I want to read this article in full? So I'll come back to this preview later, but before I do that, I would like to show you a bit more functionality on this page. As you can see here, you'll be able to copy the summary answer, including all the references that were used, so that you can refer back to it at a later time. And also, we've added an integration with my library, which is essentially the Mendeley library. So if you have a Mendeley account, you can add your references found by SDAI to your Mendeley library. If you don't have a Mendeley account, you will be prompted to create one, and that is just totally open and free for everyone. Then going further, you'll see this section here, which says references from the summary. So this is really all the references that were used by the LLM to generate the summary, listed in a nice overview. And for each of these references, we've provided a small individual summary that will indicate how this article relates to your original query, which is at the top still here. Again, helping you to very quickly decide, is this an article that I want to read? Does this summary, in fact, mention something that is of interest to me? And you can see in this case, the LLM picked 9 articles to generate a summary from. And there's one remaining related insight, which is actually another reference, which was not picked by the LLM, but was retrieved in response to your query, and is also of relevance to your question. And again, this individual summary indicates how it is related. Then going all the way down to the bottom, you'll see a list of questions. These are actually LLM-generated suggested questions that can help you continue your discovery into this topic. So you might get ideas of what to ask next, things that you might not have thought of, different angles to the question that you initially asked. So we've heard from our users that this is actually helping them a lot to, broaden their view and continue their discovery journey. So if we go back to the references, and let me open that side panel again that I showed you before. If after reading this, you've decided you want to see the article, you'll click on View Article and you'll get taken to the article page on ScienceDirect. And the second component of ScienceDirect AI will open up automatically. This is what we call the reading assistant. And as you can see, it will have taken your original query and it will immediately start answering that query, in this case, based specifically on the article that you're at. And again, each statement, each part of the answer is grounded in the actual text and can be referenced through the links provided in the summary. So you can immediately see, where does this answer come from? Which parts of the article are relevant to me? Which pieces of text do I need to read in order to, understand or get a good understanding with regard to my question? And this prevents you from having to read the entire article top to bottom. If there's really just maybe only one section of the text that is of actual relevance to you in this case. So the nice thing about Reading Assistant is that it allows you to chat. So you can ask follow-up questions. For example, sorry. And it will, again, take the article as a source and answer your follow-up question. If we go back to the top, you'll see this list of questions here. And this is basically similar to what I've shown on the ScienceDirect AI homepage. The LLM suggesting questions that you might want to ask this particular article, just to help you, get a grip on what the article is talking about and what would be of interest to you. Then there are a few actions here. You can just simply ask the Reading Assistant to summarize the article for you. But what you could also do is ask it to summarize the experiments described in it specifically. So if we click on that, you'll see that it will extract the details of each of the experiments that were described in this particular article. And in this case, there are 4 experiments. And for each experiment, the details will be laid out in a very nice overview. So the goal and experiment type, materials and methods, the results, and also the conclusion per experiment. And again, this is to help you go through an article much quicker and much more efficiently, and really get to the bits that interest you most much more quickly. So keeping this functionality in mind, if we go back to the ScienceDirect AI homepage and go to the bottom of the page again, you might have seen me scroll past this before. There's this button that says Compare Experiments. And this is actually similar to what I just showed you in the Reading Assistant. However, this takes all the 10 references that were retrieved in response to your query, and it will extract the experimental details out of all those articles. I have to say only the articles that are research articles, so the ones that do contain experiments, of course. Because in, for example, review articles or book chapters, there will not be experimental details to be extracted typically. So as you can see here, you'll get a table that lists out per article all the experiments that were described. And so that allows you to get a quick overview of every article in itself, but also to compare experiments between different articles. And this is, as you can see, a very large table, which you might want to, take a look at your own pace at some later time. So for that, we are supporting export functionality here so that you can download this as a CSV and go back to it later when you need it. So what we've heard from users is that this functionality would be really helpful also to have for articles that you've selected yourself. And we're looking into various ways of providing that, that functionality. And the first step towards that is something that we're providing on the regular ScienceDirect search page. You may recognize this view. This is the ScienceDirect search results page. And here, what we've added is a feature that allows you to compare experiments out of research articles that you've selected yourself. So if I select these two research articles and click compare experiments, the system will generate a table like I've shown you before for these two articles and extract the experimental details on the fly.